This morning, more dire warnings from Iraq as Islamic State militants lay siege to a northern town.
Also on Weekend Breakfast, airstrikes flatten buildings in Gaza City as Israel escalates its campaign against Hamas.
The NRL delivers a dose of medicine to controversial biochemist Stephen Dank, banning him for life over the supplements scandal.
Stephen Dank never ever should be allowed near any sporting venue or any athlete anywhere in the world ever.
And New Zealand maintains its hold on the Bledisloe Cup after the All Blacks demolished the Wallabies at Eden Park.
Good morning, it's Sunday the 24th of August. I'm Letitia Lemke.
And I'm Andrew Gagan. Thanks so much for your company this morning. Also on the program this hour, well, it's one of the most...
Stories from ABC News. The United Nations has called on the international community to take immediate action to avoid a massacre of civilians in a town besieged by Islamic State militants. The residents of the northern town of Amerli reportedly have no food or water as a 2-month siege continues. The town's residents are predominantly Turkmen Shia. The UN has urged Iraq's allies to evacuate the town or provide humanitarian assistance. Meanwhile, 3 bombings appearing to target Kurdish forces have killed 18 people in the city of Kirkuk and wounded more than 60. 2 car bombs went off in quick succession near a building used by Peshmerga forces as a lookout. A 3rd car bomb targeted a Peshmerga headquarters.
Emergency services in Gaza say an Israeli airstrike has levelled an apartment building, wounding at least 18 people. Residents in the 11-storey building were called 10 minutes before the attack and told to evacuate, after which at least 2 missiles slammed into the complex, levelling it. The Israeli army says a Hamas military operations room had been located in the building. Israel says it has carried out 55 airstrikes over the Gaza Strip this weekend. Its military says Hamas has fired around 45 rockets and mortar rounds, with another 10 intercepted.
All the trucks from an unauthorised Russian aid convoy have now crossed back over the border from Ukraine. The convoy returned from the eastern city of Luhansk, which is held by pro-Russian separatists. The Ukraine government and Western officials fear the trucks may have had military equipment to help rebels, but Russia insists they delivered generators, food and water. Observers say only the first 37 of more than 200 trucks were inspected by the Red Cross. Shocked patients have expressed their outrage that a rogue doctor was allowed to operate on people despite being linked to the deaths of 2 prostitutes. A Four Corners investigation has revealed that Dr Suresh Nair was allowed to continue working at a private Sydney hospital despite evidence that 2 young sex workers had died in his apartment from cocaine toxicity and that he had a cocaine addiction. Several of his patients were left with ongoing major problems, and in one case a woman was left with crippling back pain because Suresh Nair operated on the wrong vertebrae.
The government could offer a compromise on the Medicare co-payment exempting child vaccinations in order to win crossbench support. Reports in today's News Limited papers suggest children going to the doctor to be immunised would not be charged the $7 co-payment. The report says other options being considered by the government include exemptions for patients in aged care facilities and a reduced fee for pensioners.
Thailand has promised leniency in the case of babies born to surrogate mothers, despite a crackdown on the largely unregulated industry following a series of scandals. The country's new Prime Minister has expressed concern for women already surrogates who may be frightened to consult with doctors amid the clampdown. He says he doesn't want women to compromise the health of their babies because they're afraid of being prosecuted. The crackdown has been spurred on by accusations an Australian couple abandoned their son with Down syndrome but took his healthy twin sister back to Australia.
Authorities in Iceland say lava is erupting under a glacier at the Buttabunga volcano, prompting them to raise an aviation alert to red. Authorities have warned that a small subglacial eruption is underway, and they have already evacuated a few hundred people from an area close to the volcano over fears it could erupt. 4 years ago, Huge ash clouds caused an eruption at another Icelandic volcano, led to chaos in the aviation industry. It caused the biggest shutdown of European airspace since the Second World War. At present, all Icelandic airports remain open.
And a 79-year-old man has been freed from a US jail after being cleared of arson and the murder of his daughter. Han Tak Lee was released after serving 24 years in prison for the crime. Prosecutors have 4 months to decide whether they want to attempt a retrial. A Pennsylvania judge ruled Mr. Lee's conviction was based on now debunked arson science. And later, the true fans rise early. Doctor Who devotees have been up this morning across Australia to watch a simulcast of the first episode of the latest series, featuring the debut of the newest incarnation of the famous Doctor. And we'll meet a couple of Whovians to talk about why the classic sci-fi series never loses its intrigue. Let's take a look at the satellite. A weak low and trough in the east are generating rain in southeastern Queensland and northeastern New South Wales. A weak low is crossing far southern New South Wales, Victoria and Tasmania, bringing a brief spell of patchy rain. A high is clearing skies in western Victoria and South Australia and is keeping the Northern Territory and WA dry. Looking around the country, in Queensland, generally clear and dry in the north. Showers in the southeast, mild in the south and warm in the north. Showers along the north coast of New South Wales with brisk southeasterly winds, cool in the south, mild in the north. In Victoria, isolated showers in the south and some rain in the southeast, cold in the south, cool in the east and west. And cool in Tasmania's northeast, showers throughout, heavy at times in the northeast. In South Australia, the odd light shower in the far southeast, gusty easterly winds about the west coast later. Cloud and showers increasing over the far southwest of Western Australia, clear and dry elsewhere, warm throughout, and generally dry and sunny throughout the Northern Territory. Looking ahead to tomorrow's forecast for the capital cities, a shower or two in Brisbane, a few showers in Sydney and Melbourne, partly cloudy in Hobart, sunny in Adelaide, mostly sunny in Perth and sunny in Darwin.
Sunday's papers have to say.
Victoria's Sunday Age writes that university chancellors are concerned about a possible doomsday scenario that could eventuate if federal parliament blocks changes to higher education. They say the government could slash billions in research funding if its other proposals are blocked. The legislation is due to be introduced this week.
The sister of murdered Brisbane mother Alison Baden-Clay has told the Sunday Mail that her 3 daughters are doing well despite their loss. Vanessa Fowler says the girls aged 13, 10 and 7 have inherited their mother's passion, generosity, kindness and sharp intellect.
The Northern Territory has the highest smoking rates in the country, with nearly 35% of adults regularly puffing away. And yesterday, the top end shivered through its coldest August morning in more than 70 years. These are the lead stories in today's Sunday Territorian.
Melbourne Sunday Herald Sun is reporting that TV personality Sonia Kruger is expecting her first child at the age of 48, and Canadian drug dealers are said to be profiting from Australia's high demand for cocaine and ice.
The Sunday Telegraph in Sydney is also leading with Ms Kruger's baby news and suggests that childhood vaccinations could be exempt from the proposed $7 Medicare co-payment in a bid to win crossbench support for the proposal.
South Australia's Sunday Mail is leading with a story about last week's dreadful truck crash in Adelaide that claimed the lives of 2 people. The family of the man behind the wheel of the truck, which was reportedly travelling in excess of 150 kilometres an hour, say they're also mourning the loss of those who were killed.
In New South Wales, the Sun Herald writes that Sydney waterfront homeowners can legally chop down trees obstructing their views under controversial vegetation clearing laws introduced this month in bushfire-prone areas.
And an advisor to Tasmania's controversial Palmer United Senator Jackie Lambie says he's amazed by the criticism of her recent comments about China. Former Queensland MP Rob Messenger has told the Sunday Territorian that Ms Lambie's suggestion that Australia should be prepared for a Chinese invasion is realistic.